Regardless of your strategy, at the end of the day, you're still going to need to create the best content that you possibly can. In this video, we're going to look at how you can do this so that you have a real advantage over the competition already on the app. This is going to have some things in common with creating great video content for YouTube or for any other platform. Ultimately, you're recording videos and there's only so many different options that you have regarding how you go about that. But there are also some unique differences. Of course, you're not going to get the chance to edit your footage, and this also means that you can't add music or effects. And as we'll see, there are also some other slightly more subtle ways that making video for this platform differs. We'll look at both general video making tips here, as well as some tips that specifically apply to streaming content. And once you spend some time on Periscope, you'll quickly realize that this is something more people need to do. As I mentioned, live streaming videos mean that you can't add any editing after you've already filmed the video. This also means you'll need to do as much as you can to add to the footage in other ways. For instance, the lack of music can often make videos seem less professional, and this draws more attention to your pauses and silences, and it also makes it harder for you to generate some emotion in your footage. So, what can you do to get around this? Well, simply add some music in the background. Of course, there are potential copyright issues here, but for now, this is something that you don't need to worry about too much. Unlike YouTube, Periscope can't detect copyright music, and it's also uncertain how the law would apply to all this anyway. Still, if you have some of your own tracks, or if you have license-free music, then using that could be a good strategy. Of course, if you're a marketer, then one of the main things that you're going to be trying to do is to sell things or promote your blog. And you can do this by telling people in the video itself where they can find more of your content or buy your products. But this won't always work, as some people are likely to miss it. So what can you do to encourage people to check out the links that you want them to look at? Well, one easy answer is to share those links right on the video. On YouTube, you might do this by having a caption on the video or even a link. Now, as you can't do this on a Periscope video, then what you'll need to do is find another way to add the text. And one way to do that is simply to include your branding in the video itself. You could actually make a piece of card showing your brand and the address of your website, for example. Or alternatively, you could make a mug with your website name on it and drink out of that. Or you could even print out a t-shirt with your company name and wear that. This way, at any point during the video, your audience can decide that they want to learn more about your brand, and they can then visit your website to do that. Finally, one last tip is to think about the scripting and the structure of your video if you intend it to be informational. The big problem here is that people are going to be tuning in to watch your footage at various different points in the video, and sometimes they'll be tuning in when you're already halfway through the talk. If you're waffling on for ages with no plan and no rhyme or reason, the people who miss the very start will be lost, and they probably won't want to keep watching. Now, to get round this, make sure that you continuously recap on the topic of your video and what you've already covered so far. Likewise, the right structure can also help with this to a large extent. List videos in particular work very well because these ensure that people can quickly catch up with what's being said. For example, the top 10 pec exercises is a great video because people coming in at point number 8 will still be able to learn 2 useful exercises. What's also good about something like this is that it's going to allow you to have a structure to keep referring back to. Of course, part of the appeal of this kind of content is that you can interact with your audience and you can answer questions, so you can't actually follow a rigid script. However, if you have a structure, then you can easily get back on course once the topic gets derailed. Other props can also help with this. For instance, why not have a whiteboard in the video and refer to that occasionally? If you're still stuck for ideas of videos to make, here are some good suggestions that will work very well for a variety of different niches. And the first one is how-tos. Talk your audience through how to do something and answer questions as you go. Then there are countdowns. Now, as I just mentioned, top 10 lists and the like often work well. And there are songs. If you're a talented singer or musician, then share that talent. People love live performances. Concerts? Well, better yet. Then there's AMAs. Now, AMA is Ask Me Anything. In these videos, one person will put themselves forward and answer questions on any topic. Then there are interviews. Get someone interesting on your show and interview them. There's also debates, launch events, talks over lunch or breakfast or on the commute. Find a point in your day to chat to your audience and share a tip then. This is both personal and informative at the same time. Then, of course, there's product reviews, and these work great on YouTube, and they'll be just as effective on Periscope. There's seminars and courses, and if you call your video a course, then this elevates it to a whole new other level. There's discussions, and in a discussion, you let the comments lead the direction of your video. Also talks. Now, if you're giving a talk, make sure someone is streaming it for you. It looks professional. There's incidental, and an incidental video is a video that you film as you go about doing other things. There's also life hacks, workouts, dating attempts, cooking, recipes, tutorials, let's plays, for games, behind the scenes, a day in the life, the list just goes on and on and on. And there are way more things that you can do, but hopefully this has given you some good inspiration to start with. What's also key to making sure your video is a hit is to present it well so that people enjoy watching it. To do that, you need to make sure that you're looking good and that you're able to communicate your very best. So this is a real skill, and it's even harder live as, once again, there's no option to edit anything. One key point to get out of the way, though, is to always keep going. In other words, if you stutter or you make a mistake, then just recover and keep going. Don't draw attention to it. Of course, you want to limit your stuttering as much as possible, and one way to do that is to simply talk a little more slowly. The slower you talk, the clearer you'll become, the more you will enunciate, and actually the more confident, calm, and intelligent you'll sound. It's very easy to speed up when you're talking, without actually realizing it. So make sure that you're going slower than you think you should be. It actually pays to watch yourself back. The same goes for your presentation skills. Once again, playing your footage back will allow you to see where you're going wrong and how you could maybe be more charismatic. The answer in many cases is to try and be bigger. In order to come across as charismatic, research says that it's important to gesticulate more. This makes you seem passionate about what you're saying, and it makes you take up more space. Both of those things are great in capturing the imaginations of your audience. The same goes for the way you say things. Try to sound over the top like a children's presenter. It'll seem strange at first, but it comes across much better on camera, and it makes you far more engaging to watch. Imagine you're in a show and make everything a little larger than life. Finally, try to dress well. Shave if you're a man, or wear makeup if you're a woman, and get your hair done. These small things add polish to your appearance, and the result is that you'll seem much more trustworthy, successful, and attractive. All things that make more people want to watch you. Finally, consider the following pointers to make your videos seem more professional. You'll want to create a set. Now, when you're filming your videos, it's a good idea to have something in the background. Don't just film in your kitchen or your bedroom, especially if you have clothes everywhere. Instead, take a little time to create a backdrop for yourself. Now, perhaps that means sitting at your desk and hanging up some posters right into your niche. You could even hang up a poster of your brand. Another option is to film in front of a white backdrop. Now, this is hard to do without editing, but a bedsheet pulled taut along with some good lighting can do the trick near enough. And lighting also makes a big difference to how crisp everything looks and how good you look. Ideally, you want to set up what's called Rembrandt lighting, which is lighting that is coming specifically from one side. And this will light half your face and give everything more depth, texture, and contrast. And natural light is just fine for this. At the moment, Periscope does not support streaming video with anything other than a smartphone. It doesn't matter though. It just means that you need to get a new smartphone with a decent camera. Make sure that the front-facing camera is good too. This is just as important for you to capture great footage, as often you'll want to see yourself in the shot as you're filming. Think too about the quality of your sound. This comes down to the quality of the microphone in your phone, but also the acoustics of the room you're filming in. So you want to avoid filming in large, echoing rooms.